can we expect from UniLend? Like, if I'm an investor, what should I be looking at? What are some sexy things that you think of, when it comes to UniLend as an investor?
Now, UniLend wants to do for lending and borrowing what Uniswap did for trading pools. They essentially want to make it so that any ERC20, which of course is the vast majority of tokens in the world, are able to be set up with lending and borrowing pools the way that most of the major tokens are traded on Aave and Compound, Curve, different sites like that, where you can do lending and borrowing against certain assets. Well, they're taking that exact idea and trying to Uniswapify it, if you will, and allow for anyone to set up any lending and borrowing pool with almost any asset.
Any Ethereum-based token will be able to be listed on UniLend, opening up billions in liquidity, meaning that any Ethereum token can be utilized as collateral for lending in the borrowing markets on UniLend.
After the lending and borrowing protocol, UniLend announced a partnership with synthetic asset issuer Mirror Protocol to collaborate on the first synthetic asset lending marketplace, which will be focused on real-world assets like stock. This kind of sent everyone into a frenzy online, and deservedly so. This means that you would, in theory, be able to lend or borrow stock.
So their core features here are permissionless listing, lending and borrowing, governance, liquidity, and they also have trading and native utility tokens. So they're also going to have trading pairs here. It's not just for lending and borrowing. So essentially they're having some Uniswap-esque functionality here as well. But for me, the big ones here are the permissionless listing as well as the lending and borrowing. This is what really allows them to set themselves apart from the rest of the pack here and allow for some really interesting functionality.
This type of open exchange for stock-pegged digital assets in a fungible market environment can provide enormous opportunity for users around the world to get access to new assets they couldn't get to before, but also for new profit-making activities related to stock and traditional assets by way of DeFi. So I can imagine immediately being able to collateralize stock that I own in the real world to get a stablecoin loan and then participate in other DeFi services, and then later exit back to stock, for example, to grow my position in that stock if I wanted to.
Today we're going to look over the amazing UniLend Initium V1 alpha release. This protocol is amazing. Again, this is just the alpha release. In a short time, we will see many new updates added to the alpha. Again, this is Initium V1. I really like the UI and I've played with it. It's very easy to use.
As well as other tier 1 types of partners. So seeing this eventually make its way to a Binance listing would not surprise me. And if it does happen, you can come back and say, Elio told you first.